What is quarterback purgatory? The NFL, quarterback purgatory is when a team is trapped in a cycle of having a quarterback who isn't bad enough to be replaced, but also isn't good enough to take them to the next level. This leaves teams stuck in the middle, too competitive to land a top draft pick for a future star, but not strong enough to truly contend. As a result, they struggle with inconsistency and making it difficult to build a long-term plan at the most important position on the field. This is exactly where the Giants find themselves at right now. They have been linked to 3 quarterbacks over the past couple days. Aaron Rodgers, who may sign with either Pittsburgh or Minnesota at this point. Russell Wilson, who left the Giants without a deal because he wanted a 2-year deal and the Giants said, no, we're going to give you 1 year. And then there's Joe Flacco, who might be the best option for the Giants right now. And obviously, I don't think I have to tell you that a 40-year-old Joe Flacco is not a good option for the Giants right now. Now, the Giants were in the mix at one point to have the first overall pick in the 2025 NFL Draft. All they had to do was lose to the Colts. And look what happened. They ended up beating the Colts, and this is exactly what QB Purgatory is. Being way too competitive, knowing you don't have a quarterback on your roster right now worthy of being your starter, and they lost to the Colts, losing out on their chance to possibly find their franchise quarterback for their team for the future. And here's the thing, the Giants are going to get one of these veterans. These veterans are going to win about 2, 4, maybe 5 games, and the Giants are going to once again find themselves out of position to get a star quarterback because they once again won too many games. They were too competitive, but also once again not exactly a playoff team or a contender or anything like that. Once again, that is exactly what QB Purgatory is. These teams that have no clear vision at the quarterback spot right now are wanting to be way too competitive, knowing that it's going to end up biting them in the future because they're once again going to be scrambling to figure out who is our quarterback going to be. The Giants have done this 2 seasons in a row now. 2024, they could have had Drake May, Jaden Daniels, or Caleb Williams. The Giants won too many games near the end of the season, and they had to take Malik Neighbors, and once again, they had no clear vision at the quarterback spot at that point still. They could have even settled for a guy like Bo Nix, JJ McCarthy, or Michael Penix, but the Giants decided against that. You'd have to imagine the cycle is going to continue for the Giants for the next couple years, because once again, a veteran is going to come in here, play his heart out. He's going to lead the Giants near the offseason, and the Giants are once again going to be asking themselves, what do we do at the quarterback spot? QB Purgatory. The Giants wanted to hold on for Daniel Jones for this long. They wanted to hold on for him for all these long seasons, knowing that this guy was not a franchise quarterback, but they wanted to have faith in him. They knew he didn't have a high ceiling. They knew he was going to take them anywhere, probably up to 1 win in the playoffs. That's all he did. But they wanted to have faith in him. And because of that, the Giants find themselves in no man's land at the quarterback spot. Now the Giants find themselves in a position where they might have to sit here and pay for a 40-year-old quarterback who's going to do nothing for them long term, or trade back into the NFL draft for a project quarterback who once again may not be anything more than a project. It might not even be a finished product, and he may not never be a finished product because he's just simply too raw as a passer. I'm talking about Jalen Miro, by the way. That might be a quarterback we target. I'm just using him as an example. And the Steelers, they're in quite the same situation as us. Always super competitive. They're more competitive than us. And then, near the end of the season, there's the question of who is the Steelers quarterback gonna be? And they really don't have a draft pick high enough to draft one. And one in the later rounds isn't gonna help you either. I mean, sure, go ahead and get that veteran quarterback all you want. He might be good for you for 1 season, might be average at best. And then near the end of the season, you realize he's not worth signing, but you also realize you might not have a choice. You can't get a quarterback in the draft that's warranted for a 1st round pick or even worth drafting at all. Or if he is drafted, he's probably not going to be a starter. So that's the problem here. And then with the Steelers, it's always weird for them because they're a super competitive team that's good enough to make the playoffs, but then their quarterback isn't really good enough to withstand the playoff energy, should I say. The Giants are just far worse, honestly. The Giants are not really a good team at all, but they always try to be super competitive near the end of the season and ruin their draft stock and ruin their chance to get a quarterback. Like, Tommy DeVito is the main reason why they don't have Jaden Daniels or Drake May on their team right now. Being super competitive when you don't need to be ruined the Giants. I wouldn't say it ruined the Steelers, but now they're realizing that QB Purgatory really does suck, because now they're witnessing pretty much the harsh end of it. What do you do now? Now look at the teams who managed to escape Purgatory. The Bears finally got their quarterback in Caleb Williams. The Patriots, just a few years left off Tom Brady, they had to go through Purgatory, and now they got Drake May. The Commanders, they were in Purgatory for years, and they finally got their franchise guy in Jaden Daniels. They finally realized that they're not a competitive team. They're not making the playoffs anytime soon. And even if they make the playoffs, they're not winning any games. So they just sat back, lost some games, and at the end of the day, it ended up being worth it. And I guess even the Chiefs, they were in Purgatory with Alex Smith. He was good, but he was never good enough to win them a Super Bowl. And in the end, it got them Patrick Mahomes, I guess. Some teams, cough the Giants, need to just sit back and realize you're not going to be a contender, so why keep losing games and lose out on your chance to get a franchise quarterback nearly every year? Is tanking for the weak? Absolutely. But sometimes tanking might be better than winning, because tanking has some benefits to it. More benefits than winning as an overall bad team that does you no favors, losing out on draft position because you wanted to win a one game. Tanking might cause some issues, but it also gives you an idea of what exactly you need to change around this team too. Hopefully the Giants finally realize that. I'm pretty sure they do now at this point. And hopefully the Steelers, they find a way to escape it without having to tank. The Giants, they possibly need to just tank at this point. The Steelers, I don't know if they need to do that. They have a really good team, but it's just the quarterback that is always causing the issues for them. Be wary, guys. QB Purgatory is definitely real. Don't be a part of it.